We will perform baroque music like Locatelli or Vivaldi and Tartini, and I think this is quite new thing for a symphonic orchestra that is very well known for the big orchestral romantic pieces. But the question is try to communicate some elements of interpretation that are quite different from the normal way to perform the music. It's not easy because with my group in Giardino Armonico we developed together a language, because also this group in Giardino Armonico plays quite differently from the other period instruments. But I know some of the main musicians of Giardino Armonico since 20 years, so we really, in some way, we speak the same language. It's more or less the same with a symphonic orchestra. When they perform Bruckner or Mahler, they speak their own language. And it's not too easy in 2 days and in 2 or 3 rehearsals to communicate some elements. But the musicians, they are all musicians, they are very high-level musicians. So I think the result will be a third thing. It's no more a symphonic sound, is not exactly a period instrument sound, is a third result, where the main thing is, for me, is the energy that come out from the performance, to move the people that will come to listen. Locatelli, there was a moment of his life where he went to Amsterdam and he lived in Amsterdam. I think also he died in Amsterdam. He was one of the most violin virtuoso of his time. He was very famous for his capricci. From the technical point of view, are the same level of Paganini capricci. Was someone who really brought the technique of the violin to a very high level, much higher than the technique of his time. But what is important with Locatelli, and also with composers like Tartini, Geminiani, Vivaldi himself, that was really the true Italian violin school. These people, this virtuoso, Italian virtuoso, they really developed a language with a bow where the bow can express 1,000 of different kind of attack, very close to the human voice, to imitation of human voice. But imitation of human voice from the point of view, for example, to tell the consonant or the vocals that a singer can tell, or really the art of the bow, something that after was little lost. Because, for example, today, in some way, in the most part, on many virtuoso approach to the violin, the main thing is the left hand, so to go fast or high. But the right hand sometimes is not so rich, like for me it was in that time, where maybe this expression with this hand was the main thing. And Locatelli was one of the most important exponents of this approach to the violin. The Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach symphony, that maybe is not so known to the public, it's completely an experimental piece. Carl Philipp was someone really try to move on with the music, with the development of music, and especially to find the freedom in music. And for me, Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach has a direct link with Beethoven. Beethoven was the first modern composer with a concept to be an artist. And Carl Philipp was a man of 18th century, for sure, but in his music we find many places that are quite shocking, not expected. And it was a sign to find a freedom, always remaining in the classical form of the symphony, but many times it seems to be quite terroristic in some way. And everyone, I think, there are strong change of harmony, strong changes of dynamics, everything made suddenly. And I think it will be very, very clear to the listener this approach. With Haydn, also in Haydn we have this experimental side, but more remaining in his time. Haydn was a very loved composer, a very famous, but in his music, for example, in the minuetto, in the trio, that is a more classical form, more closed form of 18th century. The minuetto dance was a court dance. Here Haydn really find a freedom of phrasing, make a distribution of bars in a very asymmetrical things. And also here there is an incredible freedom, maybe it's a more hidden way, but if you study and you see the score and you try to also to show in your interpretation this this way to go against the rules, we can discover a very interesting side of Haydn music that many times is, for me, is an underestimated composer. But in some way, for me, it's many times more interesting than Mozart symphonic works.